What if the secret to her deepest devotion isn't chasing her, but actually letting go? This isn't about playing games. It's about a fundamental shift in your emotional landscape that makes you undeniably more attractive. Discover how true independence can become your most powerful magnet. You've spent years believing that the way to win a woman's heart is through constant effort, showing up, reaching out, giving more, proving your loyalty through movement. But every time you chase, something unseen begins to fade. Her attention drifts, her words shorten, her warmth cools. You can feel it in the pauses between messages, in the subtle impatience in her tone, in the way she no longer looks at you with the same spark of curiosity. That loss of mystery is not random. It's a direct reflection of energy imbalance. The moment you make her the center of your emotional gravity, you shift from masculine stillness to orbiting dependence. And when that happens, her instincts begin to pull away. A woman's attraction is born in tension, the space between what she can predict and what she can't. When you chase, you erase that tension. When you let go, you restore it. Detachment isn't about indifference. It's the art of self-containment, of standing so firmly in your own center that her emotions can swirl without pulling you off balance. Most men confuse attachment with love. They think closeness is measured by constant communication, immediate replies, endless reassurance. But closeness without contrast suffocates desire. She cannot respect what she already possesses completely. Respect grows only where space exists. Think of the man who explains every feeling, who texts paragraph after paragraph, trying to fix the smallest misunderstanding. He believes he's proving care, but what she feels is a subtle weight, the heaviness of a man who has abandoned his own calm to secure her comfort. She won't articulate it, but somewhere inside she feels the loss of polarity. The emotional landscape flattens, the mystery dissolves. Now picture the man who listens without rushing to defend himself, who allows silence to speak when words would only dilute meaning. His presence carries an invisible gravity. He doesn't demand understanding, he embodies it. She senses it in the slow rhythm of his responses, in the calm behind his eyes. That composure awakens something ancient in her, the instinct to trust what she cannot move. When you let go, you remind her of the natural order of attraction. The feminine moves, the masculine holds. The ocean may crash, but the cliff remains. It doesn't resist. It simply endures. That endurance is what she feels as strength. It tells her that your emotions are disciplined, that your peace is self-generated, that your worth does not depend on her validation. A woman's respect is not built through gifts or promises. It's built through consistency under pressure. She will test that stability, not out of malice, but to confirm it. Each time she provokes reaction, she's measuring the structure of your inner world. Do you fracture or do you remain whole? The answer decides whether her admiration deepens or fades. Detachment allows you to respond instead of react. It teaches you to breathe between stimulus and response, to replace the impulse to explain with the decision to remain composed. In that pause, you reclaim power. And paradoxically, that calm distance becomes the very thing that draws her closer, not because she fears losing you, but because she feels safe in the presence of a man who cannot be shaken. You start to realize that true independence isn't the absence of feeling, it's the mastery of it. You can care deeply and still refuse to cling. You can desire her and still choose yourself first. When she senses that balance, emotion held within discipline, her respect transforms into devotion. It's not about withholding affection. It's about demonstrating that your heart operates by choice, not by need. There's a quiet elegance in a man who doesn't chase validation, who doesn't rush to prove his intentions, who allows connection to breathe. His silence isn't distance, it's invitation. His calm isn't coldness, it's command. Women feel that difference immediately, the contrast between emotional control and emotional chaos. One drains them, the other stabilizes them. You can see it even in small moments. When you delay your reply not out of strategy, but because you're centered in your own rhythm, she feels the shift. When you speak less but with clarity, she leans in to listen. When you maintain eye contact without seeking approval, the dynamic reverses. She begins to pursue your composure the way she once sought your attention. Detachment is magnetic because it reflects mastery, and mastery is the highest form of attractiveness. Every gesture of restraint, every act of self-possession communicates that you are a man governed by principle rather than impulse. And that realization doesn't just earn her respect, it awakens it. You begin to understand that letting go isn't loss, it's leadership. It's choosing peace over proof, stability over struggle, depth over drama. It's realizing that a woman's admiration is not won by chasing her shadow, but by standing so firmly in your own light that she has no choice but to turn toward it. And in that light, something profound happens. She remembers why she was drawn to you in the first place, not because you filled her silence with words, but because your silence carried weight. Not because you promised everything, but because you remained everything when the world demanded proof. That is how detachment commands a woman's deepest respect. You begin to notice something strange the moment you stop chasing. The air shifts. The tension that once weighed on your chest starts to feel lighter, not because she's changed, but because you have. The same moments that used to control you now feel distant, almost foreign. You realize you were never losing her. You were losing yourself in the attempt to be enough for her approval. In that silence, you discover what most men never do, that attraction isn't built through pursuit, but through the gravity of emotional sovereignty. Women don't fall for a man's words, they fall for the unspoken current beneath them. It's the stillness in your gaze, the calm in your tone, the way you no longer reach for validation. A woman feels that more deeply than any confession of love. You start to see that the man who chases unconsciously teaches her that he is lesser. Every message sent too soon, every emotional reaction, every attempt to correct her distance, it's all a silent admission that her presence defines your worth. And when she senses that imbalance, her instinct withdraws, not out of cruelty, but out of biology. A woman is drawn to the man she cannot easily move. Her respect blooms in the soil of your composure. Detachment isn't coldness, it's emotional discipline. It's the rare ability to remain centered while the world tries to pull you apart. Seneca called it the virtue of equanimity, the calm that no fortune can disturb. Machiavelli understood it as the power of control, the strength to withhold emotion until its release serves your design. You embody both when you stop reacting to her moods, her silences, her tests. Each time you withhold an impulsive reply, each time you choose stillness over argument, you reinforce the truth that your value isn't negotiable. She begins to feel something different, a tension between her desire to be chosen and her awareness that she cannot sway you. That contradiction becomes fascination. The more unshaken you remain, the deeper she looks for your center. You might think this makes you distant, but the opposite is true. It makes you magnetic, because emotional distance, when grounded in strength, doesn't create space, it creates pull. She leans into the void you no longer fill with need. Your absence becomes presence. Your silence becomes weight. That's the psychology of attraction that few men ever master. You learn that emotional detachment isn't about withdrawing love. It's about controlling investment. You decide when to give, when to hold, and when to walk away without flinching. That level of control rewires how she perceives you. It removes you from the category of men who orbit her. You become the fixed star in her sky, the one she orients herself around, even when she pretends not to. And this is where respect is born, not from fear, not from manipulation, but from recognition. She sees in you what she rarely finds, a man who does not crumble when unseen. Your calm is unnerving because it reflects something she craves: inner order. Every woman tests not to destroy you, but to confirm your strength. Every withdrawal is an invitation for you to show that you do not need to chase her to remain whole. In time, she begins to mirror your energy. Her anxiety softens. Her curiosity grows. The same woman who once pulled away now seeks your attention again, but this time with reverence. She starts to realize that your detachment wasn't rejection. It was the purest form of confidence. And in that realization, she rediscovers her attraction, not to your affection, but to your restraint. You find yourself no longer ruled by outcomes. The win isn't in her returning, it's in you not losing yourself if she doesn't. That's the quiet revolution of masculine detachment. You stop seeking external validation because you've already reclaimed internal peace. You become what Stoics called apatheia. Not apathy, but invulnerability of the soul. Every great man who ever commanded respect understood this. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire, yet wrote to himself about self-command, not conquest. He knew that authority over others means nothing without mastery over self. The same law applies in love. You don't win her by controlling her actions. You win her respect by mastering your reactions. The truth is simple, but brutal. When you no longer fear losing her, she feels the gravity of possibly losing you. That's when the dynamic reverses. The hunter becomes the mirror, and the chase turns inward. That's the art of masculine detachment, a power so subtle that most never see it, yet so profound that every woman feels it. The less you grasp, the more she reaches. The calmer you become, the deeper she feels. And the moment you stop proving your worth, she begins to sense it. There comes a point when you realize that true strength isn't in what you can hold. It's in what you can release without fear. You've spent years trying to understand women, decode attraction and control outcomes. But control, in its purest form, isn't about managing another person's behavior. It's about mastering the quiet storms within you. The moment you stop gripping reality with anxious hands, you begin to see clearly. You stop reacting and start observing. You stop chasing and start radiating. You notice how calm feels heavier than words, how presence carries more weight than effort. When you walk into a room now, you no longer announce your worth. It announces itself. You understand something that very few ever do. Women don't follow the man who convinces them, they follow the man who doesn't need to. That's the final layer of masculine detachment. When your energy itself becomes law, you no longer negotiate for attention, affection, or validation. You give nothing away for free. Every gesture, every glance, every word is deliberate. And in that discipline, you rediscover power that feels almost ancient. The power of stillness. It's the same force kings carried when they sat in silence while others spoke. The same energy warriors had when they entered battle already resigned to death, free from the fear of loss. You've crossed the line from attraction to command. You no longer chase her heart, you summon her respect. And she feels it immediately, not because of what you say, but because of what you don't need to say. The absence of desperation becomes its own language. The restraint in your eyes speaks louder than any confession ever could. You begin to see how everything she does revolves around energy exchange. When you chase, you leak it. When you beg for reassurance, you deplete it. But when you stand in composed silence, energy flows toward you. That's the hidden symmetry of attraction. She is wired to sense where power resides, and power always follows presence. So you start living differently. You move slower. You speak with less urgency. You stop over-explaining and let silence do its work. You no longer reach for her reactions. You let them come. You realize that your calmness unsettles her, not because it's distant, but because it reveals her uncertainty. It forces her to confront her own emotional dependence, and she begins to crave your stability the way you once craved her approval. That's when everything changes. You stop trying to make her stay, and she starts fighting not to lose you. The emotional gravity shifts back to its natural order, and the irony is, you never had to manipulate her. You only had to master yourself. The wisdom of the ancients begins to make sense. Epictetus said, "You can't control what happens, only how you respond." Marcus Aurelius reminded you that peace comes when you align with nature, not when you resist it. And Machiavelli whispered that influence belongs to the man who remains composed when others tremble. These weren't just philosophical fragments. They were psychological laws disguised as principles. You finally see how they all converge inside you. You stop measuring connection by her affection and start measuring it by your control of energy. You stop fearing her withdrawal because it no longer defines your emotional weather. You are the climate, not the storm. She reacts, you remain. She tests, you observe. She withdraws, you maintain. That constancy makes you unforgettable, not because you chased her, but because you didn't. And somewhere in that steadiness, she begins to feel something she can't explain. Reverence. It's the kind of respect born from witnessing a man who answers chaos with calm. It's what separates love, that fades from devotion that deepens. You become the embodiment of masculine order in a world addicted to emotional chaos. You understand now that detachment was never about being emotionless. It was about learning emotional control so powerful that it becomes irresistible. You can care without collapsing. You can love without losing yourself. You can desire her without needing her. And that balance, that inner symmetry, is what women feel but rarely find. When she looks at you now, she doesn't just see a man. She sees a mirror, a reflection of her own potential for peace. You've become the standard she silently measures others against, not because you sought power, but because you became it. The more you detach from control, the more control you hold. And as you stand in that silence, something deeper settles within you. A quiet knowing that respect isn't demanded or earned, it's evoked. It rises naturally from your energy when your worth no longer depends on external affirmation. You have learned the highest form of attraction, to be whole, regardless of who stays or leaves. So now, when you let her go, it's no longer an act of loss, it's an act of strength. You're not walking away from her, you're walking back to yourself. And the moment you do, she feels it, the shift, the absence, the power she can't touch. Because what commands a woman's deepest respect has never been the man who chases her. It's the man who can stand in silence, love her without fear, and let her go without breaking.